Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the NAEOP Professional Development Series. My name is Naomi McCreary. I am the Communications Technology member of the Oregon Trio Association Board. And today we're going to do a deep dive into Canva platform. Excuse my dog in the background. Today, our presenter is Jordan J. He is our Oregon Trio Association social media coordinator. And I don't want to take up too much of his time. So with that, I'll go on and turn it over to Jordan.
All right. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so glad you can join us for this deep dive, Tech Talk into Canva. Like Naomi mentioned, my name is Jordan. I'll be presenting our topic today. I have professional experience in graphic design and content creation. Currently, my main focus at the Oregon Trio Association is to develop sustainable social media systems. And I started with them just in November of last year, and I've just been building up the social media accounts from scratch. So it's been fun. This Tech Talk is part of a professional development series. It's curated for Trio professionals, and it is put together by NAEOP, the Northwest Association of Educational Opportunity Programs, and the Oregon Trio Association. These talks occur on the second Thursday of each month, so stay tuned for future ones throughout the rest of the year. And these are all recorded and posted on the NAEOP website for you to view again and go back and take more notes or whatever you need to do, or share with others, which also would love that. I co-presented our very first Tech Talk. It was on an overview of social media, and I am excited to dig deeper today into the topic and demonstrate how easy it is for all of us to be content creators for our Trio programs. So if you don't already have Canva, I would encourage you to download it now if you can. That way you have the option of learning how to use it as we go throughout the presentation today. And I will put that, I'll put a link in the chat for downloading it. And if not, that's completely fine too, just something to consider. As we go throughout the presentation, please raise your hand on Zoom if you have any questions at any time. If I don't see the virtual hand go up, Naomi will stop me and let me know that there's a question. And the same goes with any comments on the chat. If I don't see them, Naomi will stop in and let me know. I really want this to be a fun and interactive experience. There's going to be a lot of information, but it's really hands-on material, just kind of going through the menu items. I want to dig in to kind of like a really basic tutorial and of every like function there is, because there's so many things when I started using Canva that I had to go and do like a lot of Google searches and YouTube searches to figure out really simple things. And so I want to kind of just cover those all briefly today. And then in addition to that, we'll also have time at the end for any questions that we don't get to. So yeah, there are numerous reasons why Canva is an essential tool for content creators, for Trio professionals. Today, I'd like to highlight some of the reasons, some of the many, but the first thing that I think about is that there's multiple ways to do the same thing. You know, it is such a user-friendly interface. I love the example of Apple, how, they say that all of their products, the interface, there's multiple ways to do the same thing and get to the same place. For example, like the iPhone, you can access the camera from, 3 different places at least. And that just, contributes to such a user-friendly interface. And Canva is the exact same way. And so I feel like it's a great place for beginners, but has the capabilities to do really advanced tasks. Today, we'll also be digging into the templates. There's thousands and thousands of templates on Canva. The library of templates is always growing. I haven't submitted any myself, but I know pretty much anyone can submit templates for others to access. So it's a growing library and a great trait of the application. We'll also be digging into the wide variety of uses that it has. It really amazes me how many things you can do with the Canva application. Towards the end, I think I'll even showcase the fact book I created for Oregon Trio Association, as well as our Instagram profile. Both of those things I've used exclusively Canva to create all of the content for. The fact book is an actual physical booklet that we print off and give to legislators. And that is completely different than digital content for Instagram. So it's amazing the wide variety of uses that is capable of making in one place. The brand kit is another thing that we'll go over. It says brand kit on there. Just today or yesterday, they updated the application and it doesn't say brand kit anymore. Now it's just called brand. So I saw that coming up, there was going to be some updates and some changes. I got a couple emails from Canva about that. And it's so funny that, I was just updating this presentation, these slides last week, and now some of the information has already changed. But it is the brand kit or just the brand section. We'll dig deeper into that and how that is greatly essential for creating a distinctive brand for your program. But best of all, Canva is free and is accessible to everyone. There's a lot of features that make Canva Pro a great upgrade, but you can access all of the essentials with the free version of Canva. Moving on here. I think this is a nice example, just side by side, seeing some of the differences. There's thousands of free templates, photos, other media available to use right away as part of the free version. I think no matter what, I would recommend starting with the free version. You might as well that way you can just spend a lot of time getting used to it before considering the upgrade. And although I don't have any affiliation with Canva, there are some key features in the Pro plan that make the upgrade worth it once you get to that place. Specifically, the ability to share content with a team is really, really useful, even if it's just a couple other people in your staff for your TRIO program. It is really a great place to centralize your templates, even your fonts. With the Pro version, you can upload a font that you may have that you use often for your content, whether that be your email, banners, or booklets, or anything like that. You can upload those and then everyone can access them through the team. But there's also, as you can see on this diagram, is also unlimited folders to continue to organize your library of content. And there'll be some additional brand kit capabilities. I think that's where you're gonna, like I was mentioning, be able to have the fonts that you'll be able to upload, color palettes, more things like that. Moving on here to the next slide. I think, yeah, I just want to dive right into it. I'm going to open up Canva here, and we can take a look just at the menu bar on the side on the main page, and then we will kind of go one by one through there, and I'll briefly describe each tab. But in a couple more slides, we'll dig deeper into each menu item, and we can see how everything works. All right. So right now I'm on the template section. Let me hit home up here on the top left. There we go. All right. So starting out with templates here, home button is always going to get you to this area. It's a great place to see your recent designs. Yeah, actually, also on the home page, it's worth mentioning here. This Learn and Play section right here is a great place for resources to learn more about Canva directly from the company, free tutorials and things like that. Up here on top, where it says you might want to try, they're going to recommend different options of things you can venture into. I've kind of, just for fun, kind of clicked on some of these things and looked up different templates for like the resumes, for instance, and the newsletter, and just kind of messed with it to see what other things I can create on here. As a social media coordinator, obviously, I'm mostly just making social media content, but there are all these other options. But back to templates. This is the money spot for me. This is such a useful and incredible library of content. Having a place to start when getting information out there to your audience is the toughest part for me. You know, I generally have some media that I want to share, usually photos or some information that I want to share. And then, you know, if you just have a blank page, it's like, how do I make this into something? So the templates with this huge library is going to be one of the places you'll spend the most amount of time. And yeah, we'll go back and we'll dig into that more. But I do want to show you these basic other spots on the menu tab on the left-hand side here. The projects section. This is going to where you're going to access your folders. This is where you can organize everything into projects that are going to be for just yourself and ones that you share, as well as this is the place where you'll access your starred templates, which is a really useful tool. Just going through the templates, you see anything you like, you can star it, and they will end up here. This is also where your uploads are, and you can organize these. Right now I'm going back and naming everything so they're easier to access. So I can just type in Portland State University and everything will pop up from there. Projects is also where you'll have videos here at the bottom, any videos you've uploaded. And then team here. This is what the team section looks like. You'll create a team with the pro version, and you'll have access to the brand templates. This is an awesome place where, you know, after seeing what templates and what content is working best for you and is getting the most likes and interactions on social media, as an example, you'd be able to kind of create, you know, bring that template over to here, maybe take away the images as I've done here, and then just create it as like a brand template that other members of your team can then access, so you guys can have a kind of a more unified content on your different profiles. Tools here, this is the section that has just changed. These used to be kind of separate, but brand is where what was called brand kit. So this is where you can upload your logos. This is where you can have your brand colors and brand fonts. These fonts are the ones that we uploaded. Humana Sans ITC. This is the one that is on the logo. It took us forever to find, but is the font that's here on the Oregon Trio Association logo. So we uploaded that so that we can change the fonts on any of our social media posts to match the logo. You can upload your other logos, any others that you use, and your brand colors. A lot of these, I think, there's a feature where when you have an image on one of your projects, it can just recognize what colors are in the image, and then you can save those colors, which is really helpful tool. So that's where I got the red. The black is obviously regular, and that's where I got the yellow as well, from just kind of our logos and things like that. But if there are other colors that it has the hashtag sign there, and then the code, if you know those codes to any colors that you have on any sort of other application, whether it's Word or any Microsoft type of thing, or Adobe, then you can just copy and paste that code onto here and save it to your brand. The content planner. Towards the end, if we have more questions, I can dig deeper into here, because there's a lot to talk about with the content planner. But overall, it's just a place where you can schedule posts. So if I have a Facebook post that I want to go out on Saturday, but I work Monday through Friday, then I can schedule it to post onto Facebook. You can schedule multiple in the same day. Or if you just have a busy week and you just want to do all the social media planning or content planning on Monday, you can just plan it all out to post for the week and not do any of that, each day. It's really helpful tool. Since I'm a social media coordinator and that's my job 100% of the time, I'm just on there on the accounts every day. So I post every day, but I can see how it would be helpful to use, for those of us who are not, have the time to be working on social media every single day. Canva also puts a lot of holidays on here. It's a great place to get ideas for posting for each month. Discover apps. This is really just going to share kind of related apps to Canva. It's going to recommend Google Photos, Instagram, Google Drive, these types of things, but just a central place for that. Smart mockups. I have not used this, but this is another ever expanding feature of Canva. They always have something new. This is where you can create designs for the wallpapers on your phone, for your computer, at work, for t-shirts, for bags. I've read that they even now are having the option where you can, after designing them, they will, if you'd like to pay a charge to them, they will get it made and shipped out to you. I'm assuming through a third-party company, but the fact that that's an option, that's really interesting, intriguing. I think it's a place that would be worth digging into. And then lastly, on the main menu bar here on the left side, we have the starred folders. In your projects section that we visited, there's going to be all the folders you organize, and you can just star the ones that you go to often and have easy access to them here. So yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning, one of the best things about Canva is that you can use it for nearly everything. And they're coming out with new capabilities all the time. But yeah, whether it is, social media, which is what I use it for a lot, or oh yeah, and on there, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they have templates for all of those things, for videos, for TikTok, etc. You can also use it for email headers, which Oregon Trio Association uses it quite often for. Matt Bisick, all of the headers on the emails from Oregon Trio Association and NAEOP are all done through Canva. Booklets, our fact book, like I mentioned, was done using Canva. It's a great place for creating event programs. It's also great for presentations. This presentation I made on Canva. It's the first one I've done. Matt Bisick used it for the presentation he did at our professional development conference this year. And I loved it. It was so simple and really colorful, kind of like this one is. And it seemed really good to use, simplified for like projectors and things. A lot of times we have these plugins and they kind of can slow down when you're using like the Google Slides, for example, at least for me. And so I like this version. You just download it offline and then you can pull it up on your preview or whatever app you have in your computer. So great for presentations. And then personally, I've used it for invoices and for resumes as well. So I think, yeah, just endless uses for Canva. Totally worth downloading. It's free, like I said, so you can have access to all of these different things. Let's see here. I also did want to mention that you can print nearly everything. Canva has that service, like I mentioned, but you can also print in a format that is called PDF print. You can download that and then go to like a local print shop and just use that file to print anything that you create. So also has that capability. I've also, even more to mention, there are templates for physical flyers. There's templates for business cards. That's something I want to start using soon. There's logos. There's videos for social media and for like YouTube or anything like that. There are templates for letters, letterheads, and like business letters. It gives you like a lot of formats for that. Those are things I previously would like Google search, like how a letter for for this situation, and now those are all in Canva as well. There's also templates for certificates, reports. You can make monthly, daily planners on there. These are all great things, I think, for Trio professionals because we can put our logo on there, we can put our colors on there, we can put our Trio upcoming, for each month, the events that we have coming, we can create like a planner for that, print them out and supply them to our students. And so then they have a planner that they can use for themselves. And it also has our events on there and things like that. So I think just a wonderful opportunity with those kinds of templates. And yeah, you can also make photo collages and the list goes on. Continuing on here, I think next I want to go back into Canva and pull up a template and see if we can start redesigning and see what it looks like. All right, so from the home page, like I said, we'll click on template to access the main page here. Once we are here, the best way I think is just to start with a keyword. And then from the keyword, I usually would type in specifically the format that I'm looking for. So if today we are looking for, see, graduation season was just last month. So I'm gonna type in graduation. And that is gonna pull up templates for anything and everything from newsletters to email headers to social media. So it looks like there's 9,800 templates just for that. So to limit it down more, I am going to go to social media since I'm a social media coordinator, and I'm going to click on Instagram post. And 763 templates there. So now we're getting to more of a targeted search here. And here you can just go through and just find pages and pages of templates. And, that can give you ideas. A lot of times I will find a couple of templates and combine features of both of them, or I will just kind of start with them and delete like all of the elements, but just keep the background and then restart from there. It's just a great place to get different designs. I mentioned earlier that you can star templates. And so that's just right here. It used to be in the three dots, but now it's just accessible right from hovering on it. So this is a wonderful feature because I'm always just seeing something like, oh, I like that. I'm going to use that in the future. And then I, just go back and I'll see it later when I'm trying to come up with an idea for an Instagram post I want to use tomorrow. I already have like all these ones that I've starred. So that is something I would recommend using often. Anytime you see something you like, just start and save it for later. So once you choose a template, let's see, I think I'm gonna go to my start actually. I'm sure there's one in there that I will like already. Oops, going to projects, start. So there's the ones I was clicking on. Oh, here, this is a good one. One's a good example because it is what I do a lot. It is a template has nothing to do with like education or social media, at least for things that, that I'm working with, but I'll redesign it to fit that. So I'll click on use this template. And now it has made a copy of the template and has automatically put it in my recents folder. For now, it has, I'm the only one that can see it. Later on, if I want to change the permissions, I can share it with the team or share it with just Matt Bisick, and then they can access it as well. But here, this is where you're able to see the menu bar from the side here, and the resizing and the file and all of these different things. So we'll go through these one by one as well. I always want to start with this because this is something that took me forever to find. In File, you can go to show margins, and this is such a helpful tool. It's that margin just there popping up. For the longest time, I didn't really know that that existed. And so when I would, be putting in text, I would not know whether I was in that like prime square or not. And like sometimes I would, be out here and it just wouldn't look as good. And I noticed once I would have the margin showing and have access to that view, just my content got so much better. So I recommend just putting the show margins on. That is just a great tool in there. There's also rulers. So this is like when I'm trying to find like a sweet spot to put like this element there is here. Maybe I want to put one there and on this side, and I want them to be the same distance from the corners. Then I can look at the rulers here. But it will also kind of do that for you automatically, which we'll see. But if you want to be more specific and are, have experience with that, that rulers is a great feature as well. And then there's other things in here that are just kind of things that there's other places to access it, but it's just another place that you can see it, like downloading. Right here, you can also download in the share, and then you can also download from the home page, just hovering over the project. So lots of options for that, making it more user-friendly. So after the file button, I think it's great to just take a look at the toolbar up here. So it's a lot similar. It's kind of just a simplified version of Microsoft Word or Google Docs, just their, yeah, they're just their toolbars that they have. You have the colors, you have the font here. You know, Canva's fonts, I think, is a little bit limited compared to like Microsoft Word. So if there are ones that are on Microsoft Word, you can usually find those online and download the font file and then upload it onto here. Sizing, bold and italicized, alignment, you know, all these similar things that we're used to, just in a simplified version. Here's the list, much more simplified. You're not able to change the points, like the dot there at the beginning, just very, yeah, much simpler. Letter spacing here, line spacing for your text. Effects here, this is a great place to use different features like the curve. This is something that people are always like, oh, how did you do that on there, like curve around the logo? Like if I have the home element here and I have that, type in organ trio, I can go back to that effects and I can hit curve and it changes it just like that. And that's just a cool little feature to make something look pretty fancy with little effort. We also have animate. This is going to be more for video. Once you add any sort of animation, that post is now considered a video. It will download as an MP4 file. And so when you post that onto a social media account, it will be a video, even if it's just one thing. But it is really cool. There's a lot of great effects that you can put onto here. I am going to remove that for now, though, at the bottom here. And I want to go into Zoom. So when I get out of Animate, I can close this so I can get the full view of my project. I use this constantly, this Zoom, dragging back and forth. Like a lot of times, you know, at first, just, you know, trying to figure things out, I would, for like organ trio is a great example. I would make the eye red, and I would like always be from like this view or even further out, I'd be like trying to highlight the eye. And then I was like, oh, this zoom drag is just right down here at the bottom. So you can just drag that, zoom in a little bit, so it's much easier to access that. And then you can change the color. We can change the color of this. Another thing I'd like to show you is the grid view on the bottom here to the right. We have the grid view and the full size. We have multiple pages. Grid view is just a great way to access them. Once you do have multiple pages and you're off of it, it'll all just be scrolling. And so when I'm wanting to like compare colors or just compare and contrast the pages in general, I like to go to grid view and just be able to see them all laid out together. I also do a lot of full size view to see what it looks like without all the things on the side, and just to get a better idea of what the, what's kind of popping with my image and what's standing out. So I use that quite a bit. And there's also presenter notes here on the side. This is great for, well, like this presentation, if I had notes that I wanted to put in there that would only be accessible to me, you can present within the app, and then these notes will pop up. I also use the notes section sometimes just to remind myself of what I was working on. If I have a project and I leave it in, unfinished, or if I have an idea that's something I want to do in the future, then I'll just jot it down in there. Going back to our slide here. I wanted to touch on copy and resize. I highlighted it here. The number one way I like to do it is for making copy is from the homepage on your recent designs. That'll pop up here, or any design if you're just in your projects. You can always click on the three dots and click make a copy. And what that's going to do is just copy it as it is and allow you to, I often use it to like make a lot of changes that I didn't like. If I have something that I think I'm sure that I like, but I want to try something completely different, I'll just make a copy of the whole project. And then on the new one, I'll mess with things more and make a lot of big adjustments. But they can also be used for creating different shared versions. You can have one that's a copy that's just you have access to that you're editing, and one that just has kind of maybe just a rough format, but is kind of ready to go. You can share that one with your team. If a lot of times like this in the image here, this newsletter, the yellow one here, this was a recent project that Matt and I were working on. He had created the newsletters, and then he wanted me to proofread them and see if I had any adjustments or see if I had any recommendations. And so I just made copies of all of them, and I put those in a separate folder, and I just redid them completely separately, like as I wanted, instead of having to like go back and forth or anything like that, or worry about messing up what he had just in case he wanted to keep or not keep some of my suggestions. That way it was just completely separate. So really useful tool, making a copy. Resizing is also a really crucial tool, although I believe it is exclusively for the pro. So there are other ways that you can resize without the shortcut. You could create a new post. So I guess let's just start back with that. So resizing is basically just changing the dimensions of your project, of your content to fit a different medium. So this one, like we picked at the beginning, it's for Instagram. But if I wanted to create a project for Twitter, and if I want to use the same template here, or just copy exactly, but for Twitter, I could just go to the resize if I have the pro, click Twitter post, and click copy and resize. And it will instantly just make a Twitter size version of it. And this is really, really crucial because, as you will post on different social media, the same content on different social media platforms, you'll notice that like if you use one on Instagram and you post it to Twitter, a lot of your images and even your text will be blurry if it's not the right dimensions, because what the programs are doing is just stretching your uploaded version out instead of having it fit, instead of resizing it to fit their dimensions. And so this is a way that it'll just do it for you automatically. If I wanted to do it manually or needed to, because I don't have that resize feature, I could always open a blank Twitter post template that would just be completely white, but it would be these dimensions. And I could go down here to all your designs. And this will list everything that you've been working on in the order that you've used it. And you can click any of these and it will transfer right over to here. So if I had a blank Twitter and I want to put this one, I could click that and it will just automatically go on there. So that essentially is doing the same thing as resizing, just a little bit less automated. But yeah, again, that is a really essential feature that I use all the time. I try to use, Instagram and Facebook are almost identical in their dimensions for the requirements for their posts, but Twitter and LinkedIn are a lot different dimensions. And so if I post the exact same downloaded image or downloaded post from Instagram to one of those, then it will often do that blurry thing I was mentioning. So teams, I mentioned briefly the brand templates here under the template section. Apps is on, which is unbelievable. I haven't used it yet, but on Canva, you can design apps as well. I haven't gotten into that, but if you design apps or if you have created an app outside of Canva, you can share them on here. People and groups is where you can see your, I guess I can just pull it up here. Is where you can see who you have on your team. So it'll show the 19 members, who's invited, their roles. You can make adjustments there to their permissions. Groups is where you can, within the team, there can be certain groups. If just the trio programs in just one district wanted to create a group for themselves because they all want to have similar content, then they can do that here and automatically share content within those groups. There's settings here, pretty much just has to do with access and permissions. And then designs and folders, I kind of think we already went over. Just a great place to organize your content and share it with your team. We have our folders. So the team templates, that will automatically be made from your brand templates. It's the exact same thing. These ones I've made, I made this shared team. It hasn't been utilized yet because this is pretty new for Oregon Trio Association, sharing it with all of the Oregon Trio programs, but that is set up so they can share different templates amongst themselves. The goal that we have is hoping that different programs are not all making the same content for like the same types of things. So if there's a student leadership conference coming up and they want to advertise that to their students, and one of the programs makes a great post for that, makes a great template, and other programs want to just kind of alter it a little bit, they can do that versus just starting from scratch. And then we made this one. I think this is a great way to organize We just kind of upload all of Oregon Trio Association's content on here as we go. So we have some email headers that we've used here, and we've made these accessible as view-only files, which basically just means that they can be viewed and then they can just make a copy of them. You can also make edit versions with those permissions, or you can make shareable, edit and shareable versions. And then within here, I have even more specific folders. I've got all of our Instagram posts, and they're all kind of here in order. So as different Trio programs are going through our social media and they see this reminders post, for instance, and they really like it, and they're like, oh, I'd like to use that for my students, they can just make a copy right there and get started doing kind of the same thing and saving some time looking through all those templates. So that is the teams. That's kind of the basics of that. All right, now the elements section. This is such a crucial section. This is where we're gonna have access to all of the different kinds of frames, all these different kinds of like this house design. You can get stickers here, audio. I use frames quite a bit. Here you can, I think that's also what this is. I can have a frame like that. I can go to one of my uploads and I can drag it in there, and then it will automatically fit to that. So that always looks really great for creating templates. Yeah, so that one is a frame. So let's change that. And let's just add something in here. So we can do that, make those adjustments. And this is where I want to show the colors. So you can go here to photo colors and it will actually pull the colors that it sees in the photo that you have there. So if I want to make this brownish color and I want to change it to match, I can just do that and make it more unified that way. Let's see here. I hit lock there. So I can access it. These keep popping up and covering. I'm trying to access this color here. So I can hit lock to kind of block that. And then it should let me get to it a little easier. There we go. Now I can access this one. I want to do that brown maybe, or that black looks good. Or I can type in this grad. And we'll change the font here. We can drag here. So you can kind of see just how kind of accessible it is. It's really easier than you would think, or easier than I thought when I started out. It's a lot of dragging. Once you have uploaded your pictures, they're really easy to put in here. And the text is all clickable. So you're able to just highlight it, hit delete, and type in whatever you need to. The fonts are all really self-explanatory. Yeah, very, very adjustable, very easy. Yeah, here's all of the things that you'll find in Elements. I mentioned a couple of them, but it will show the recently used, it will show lines and shapes, graphics, stickers, photos, videos, etc. So many options. We pretty much went over the brand kit. I kind of dug into that a little more than I thought I would earlier. But basically, it's just a great place to centralize all of your brand information as far as your colors, your fonts, and your logos. As far as creating a distinctive brand, I did just kind of want to mention that I think the best way is just being consistent. Once you have colors that you like that represent your program, or a lot of the times I think for trio programs they are the school colors. For fonts, they can be it can be like the fonts on the logos of the school or the nonprofit as well, or it can be a font of your choosing. There's a couple of fonts that I use a lot on the social media platforms. There's an Open Sans I use a lot, and so I just kind of have that saved. As well as the elements that we were just looking at, I use kind of consistent shapes. I use a lot of circles and rectangles. And so just being consistent with those, just make your content more and more and more recognizable. And it makes such a big difference as time goes on your social media, on your email banners, so that when people open up one of your emails, they see just that familiar colors, and they instantly know, okay, this Oregon Trio Association, and are just able to kind of identify with those a lot more. It's also great to use your analytics for specifically on social media. You can access those on Facebook and Instagram pretty effortlessly, and excuse me, and it will show you what is most popular, what's receiving the most interactions, what's getting the most likes, and that's how I decide what my brand elements are going to be, what my fonts are working best, what photos are working best, those kinds of things. That is it for the most part. I want to show really quick the download, and then we can answer any questions anyone may have. So I go in here to a project, and I click on share here, and I click on download, and you have all these different file types. It will show what is suggested based off of the project that you have. But I was mentioning PDF print. That's where if you have a booklet or anything you want to print off a flyer, that would be the file for that. But you can change it to whatever you like. You click your chosen one, and you can decide what pages. If I just want to do the page 1, sometimes I'll have like 5 pages, and the last 4 pages are just like a bunch of other ideas that I had, because you can just click this duplicate page, and I'll like make edits on these ones, and then I'll decide, okay, no, this one's the one I want to go with. So I'll download just that one page, and it will just go straight to your folder, and that is it. And then you can just upload it there to your social media platform or your email or whatever it may be. They're really, really easy to access, though, even easier on the apps. I use the iPad app a lot for Canva, and that one is even more accessible. Yeah, other than that, you're ready to post once it's downloaded. But that is the main points that I wanted to go over, and I know we're coming up on time. It always takes longer once I get talking than I think. But does anyone have any questions, whether it be about Canva Pro, Canva Free, subscriptions, or any of the topics that I went over? Doesn't look like it. Well, I will put in my email into the chat. That way, if anyone has any questions, I am happy to help. I am doing this every day and always thinking about it and always learning new things about Canva and about social media. So if anyone has any questions about any of this, I am happy to help. I'm here to support any and all Trio programs. Here is my email. It is communications@oregontrio.com. Shoot me an email anytime. And yeah, just want to, just one last time to highlight that, anyone can use Canva, to not be shy about making content. Content creator, just that phrase sounds like so trendy or something, but we're all content creators. It's just another word for just making posts that go online and making them, in a way that is accessible, in a way that is captivating for our audience. And, especially for our students, being a content creator and making good, posts that are going to catch their attention is really important, because they're getting flooded with so much content out there on a day-to-day basis. So if we have our distinctive brand, they're going to notice it more. So we want to make sure that we are on the cutting edge with all of those things. And just, keep in mind your brand development as you create. And I think I saw a hand raise go on, and I was just kind of ranting there.
That was me, Jordan.
Oh, hi, Victoria.
Hey, so I just was wondering, this is kind of like more abstract question, but do you struggle with perfectionism when it comes to Canva? Because I find myself like getting in here and then spending an inordinate amount of time. And just any recommendations that you have for anybody who gets worried about doing it quote unquote wrong. And yeah, just any final thoughts that you might have on that.
That is a wonderful question. Oh my gosh. I am so glad you asked. I could go on about that for a long time. I am such a perfectionist, and that was actually the biggest challenge that I had starting out with this position and starting out with using Canva specifically. In the realm of social media specifically, it's so important. Like, timeliness is so important. And I don't know if I have like any tricks, just in that, like, I'm always challenging myself to just be like, this is good enough. Like, I already am going to spend so much time on it, with the fonts and the colors. And, if you have the time, I always think that quality over quantity is more important. Being consistent is, probably the most important out of anything. If you're just posting once a month, I think that's better than posting, but it's like, it's consistent, at least it's every month. That's better than posting, 30 days in a row every 4 months. But with that said, the second most important thing is timeliness, and making sure that, it's, if there's an announcement that needs to go out, or a lot of things I do is I'll go to events and take photos of students and things. And, while it's fresh in their heads and it's fresh in the program's minds, or the program leaders, they want to see those posts like within the week. And if I'm posting it, all of the photos, like, 3 weeks down the line, because I was spending so much time creating these wonderful posts, then I missed a lot of the opportunity to, connect with, especially a lot of the students. And so I just challenge myself to let go of that perfectionism a little bit, and just be like, this is good. Like, this is good enough. As long as you have those core things down, like consistent font, you don't want to have, 4 or 5 different fonts on a post or anything like that. You want to have consistent colors. But that is definitely something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Canva is such a creative medium and atmosphere that it can be tough not to just want to spend an abundance amount of time on one project. But once you get going and find your your routine with it, it gets easier. I have like a specific amount of time that I work on creating each day. So when that time is up or I'm getting close to it, I finish it up and then it's done. Like I will, before I post it the next day, I'll make a couple edits, but that's it. So, I think also just making a schedule and a routine is another good way to help with that.
Okay, thank you so much, Jordan. And thank you for attending the NAEOP Tech Talk this month. Our next one will be on August 11th, which is, I just had it, the Director's Hour. So we hope to see you on August 11th. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Jordan.